الذين أجرموا كانوا من الذين آمنوا يضحكون وإذا مروا بهم يتغامزون. The criminals, they used to look at the believers in the world and they used to laugh at them. Hee. Why? Look, you are wearing hijab and so on. Allah describes it in the Quran. They would laugh. Who would laugh? The criminals would laugh at the believers. That's what Allah says. Allah says, when they pass by the believers, they crack a joke and they mock at the believers. They mock at them. Look at this one. Subhanallah. I remember years ago, there was a guy, he became a big scholar. He passed away in 2005. He told us, back in the day, he was in the army. And he started growing his beard because he wants to follow the sunnah. And the others in the army used to tease him that he's a goat. Today, 2025, goat means what? If they say this guy's a goat, what does it mean? Greatest of all time. See, mashallah, Sultan Kudurat, they know what it means. He's the goat, you know, mashallah. But that time they meant he was a billy goat, making a sound. They were teasing him with the sound of a goat. And the generals called him. And they court-martialed him because he refused to shave his beard. And he says, everyone was waiting outside and we went into the tent. And I had these two generals judging. They asked me questions and so on, and I responded to them to tell them it's my conviction, it's my faith, it's the sunnah of my beloved Prophet. I'm not doing it in order to defy, I'm not doing it in order to be different, I'm not doing it in order to be cool, and so on. And they decided to promote him to the level of a sergeant. And when he exited with all his new badges, they all had to stand attention to him. And they were shocked. What happened to the sound of the goat? They couldn't say he would punish them. Allah raised his status from a normal soldier to a sergeant in one move. That example came to my mind, but it is very small. May Allah grant Sheikh Adam Makda, that was his name, may Allah grant him Jannat al-Firdaus. He was a great man. I traveled with him when I was younger to many countries. In fact, when I was 10 years old, I traveled with him to Saudi Arabia for the Quran competition. That time it was known as the International Quran Competition of Mecca, the one where the whole world would participate. Dato Tukau Mastura knows what I'm talking about because he is a part of the same delegation. He has also served the Quran in a very big way from the beginning, before we even knew him. When I found him years ago, in Cotabato and the Quraniyat and the schools, that's what made me impressed with this man, because of his connection with the Quran, nothing else. And so I traveled with this man for the Quran competition, and in 1985 I was only 10, 11 years old. Now you know my age, right? MashaAllah. But nonetheless, when Allah wants to raise you, Wallahi, He will raise you. Forget about everyone. When Allah wants to drop you, He will drop you no matter what. You need to be happy with the decree of Allah. Did you try to please Allah? Yes, you are a human. I'm a human. I make mistakes, I commit sins. Yes, indeed. But we are not evil. We don't defy Allah. We don't harm other people. Two things you need to remember. One is fulfill your rights unto Allah. He wants you to pray. He wants you to be truthful. He wants you to worship Him alone. Allah is very, very possessive over acts of worship. He says, if you do an act of worship for anyone with me or besides me, I don't need that act of worship. أنا أغنى الشركاء عن الشرك من عمل عملا أشرك فيه معي غيري تركته وشركه. I don't need the deeds that are being committed or being engaged in or being done for others with me or for others besides me. He says, I am the most independent of the partners regarding the partnership. You know what that means? Let me explain. Say you go into partnership with a multi-billionaire and your share is $50,000. What is it? It's nothing. Tomorrow if you cheat, that partner will say, get out, and he will move. Because he has $1 billion.